Hello everyone, this is Ms. Smith, and in this video I want to show you how to complete your visuals assignment. The visuals assignment that we do in this course is really useful because the assignment that you create now can be used in your semi-formal report. You are required to have one visual in your semi-formal report. Of course you can include more if you'd like, but you are required to have that one. The one that you are required to have must go in your introduction section of the semi-formal report. And that introduction has three parts: your purpose statement, your industry background, and then your visual. And so I'm going to show you how to create the visual, that third and last part for your introduction section, okay? And what you create will be what you turn in for your visuals assignment. But again, this should be the same thing that you use for your semi-formal report. So you want to make sure you get the visuals assignment right just to make your life a little bit easier, okay? One less thing to have to do. So to complete our visuals assignment, the fastest and easiest way for us to do this that I found is for us to use O-Net. O-Net is one of the three sources that we must use in our semi-formal report, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do this. So what we're going to do is perform a search. Now you'll remember we use O-Net for your career analysis assignment, so hopefully you're familiar with performing a search and gathering information from O-Net. But what you want to do this time is use information from your contact person's career. So with the career analysis assignment, you probably searched for a career that you're interested in. Well, you may be shadowing someone who's not necessarily in your same career field. What I want you to make sure that you do for your visuals assignment is perform an O-Net search based on the industry that your contact person is in. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm shadowing an accountant. Okay, I'm going to perform a search, and as soon as my very slow computer decides to start moving, it should take me to that search page, and it always does this. Let's try this one more time. Here we go. And so I've searched for an accountant, and let's just say I'm going to use this one. Okay, and what you want to do is use the work context section of your O-Net search results. Okay, so you know probably from this career analysis assignment we did recently that you have all these separate sections here, all this wealth of information that O-Net gives you. But let's just go directly to this section, the work context section, okay? And it's just going to take us right on down to that part. And so the reason that I suggest strongly that you use the work context section is because of all the information that you get from O-Net. This is going to be the only section that gives you percentages. And this lends itself to be included in a table. So for your visuals assignment, what I want you to do is to create a table based on the work context section of your O-Net search. Okay, that's essentially what you're doing. And so we already know that when we see this plus sign and see, you know, a certain number displayed, that we're not looking at all of it, right? So that means that we can click on the plus sign and that it will give us the entire view of everything that's displayed underneath that section. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. So now, as we're looking at the accountant option here in O-Net, we search for somebody who's an accountant and their career field and that information for that career field. Now we're looking at the work context section. We see that we have all these different things that an accountant could be responsible for on a day-to-day basis. What I want you to do for your visuals assignment is set a base percentage based on the percentages that you're being given. Okay? Here's what I mean. In your table, you want to have about a good 5 or so entries where you can include whatever the position requirements are, the job duties are, and then the percentage with it. Okay? And so I want you to have at least 5 of those in your table. And so now you have to figure out at what percentage you need to begin so that everything at that percentage and higher will yield at least 5 entries for you. Okay? So let's take a look at what I mean here. So I'm looking at the accountant work context, and I'm seeing they have a whole lot of things. Some things are at 31%, 32%. Just kind of looking through this and I have looked at this before, by the way, so I kind of know where I'm going with this. I see that we could probably pull about 5 good entries out if I were to start at 75%. Everything at 75% or higher would give me at least 5 entries that I can use in that table. Okay, we've got two 81%, a 78, a 79, and a 91, right? And so if I say I'm looking at work context at 75% or higher, I know based on this information that I can pull 5 different things that meet that criteria. Okay, so what I want to do now that I have that information, I want to go to a Word document and I want to create a table. Okay, and so the first thing you want to do, because Word can be a little finicky, you want to make sure that you give your table a descriptive title. Okay, so the book talks about this when they talk about visuals. You want to make sure that your reader can look at your table or at any visual that you create and understand completely what's happening with it, right? Even without having to read information about it in the paragraph before. Now, you always want to make sure you introduce your visuals in the text, in the writing, before you present the visual, but your visuals should still be strong enough to stand on its own, that the reader can go right to it and look at it and understand what it's communicating. Because that is how it normally happens. When a person sees a lot of text on the page and a visual, they tend to go straight to the visual, right? They tend to skip all the words first and go directly to the visual. So you want to communicate effectively, whether it's with the language that you use or with the visuals that you present. So we're in this Word document, and so in order to have a good solid visual in this table, we want to make sure that we give it a good title, and it needs to be a descriptive title. So let's say we call it Work Context for Accountants at 75% or higher. Okay, something like that. All right, and now once we've done that, we want to create a table. Now I'm under the Insert tab in Word, and to do that you just go to Table. You're probably going to need two columns, probably 3, 4, 5, maybe something like that. Okay, and then of course in this first row we want to make sure that we label everything. Okay, and so this could be, for example, job duties, and I have a completed table that I'll show you in a minute, but I'm just going to put something here, job duties. And here, let's say we put percentages. Okay? And then we just want to make sure that we list what we have. Now, ONET tells us that we have, for example, 91% of people includes working indoors in an environmentally controlled area, and so we can put that into our table, and then we can move on to our 81%, importance of being exact or accurate, put that in our table. And what you want to make sure you're doing, though, is that you are either listing your percentages in ascending or descending order. Either you're starting with the highest number and working your way down, or you're starting with the lowest number and working your way up. Okay, so let me show you what I've done in this example here. Okay, actually this is the completed table for that same work context, and so we have our title, we have our table, and one other thing that you need in order for your visual to be correct is for you to include the source information. Okay, and so the source information is going to be your in-text citation for where you found the information that is contained in your table. That's what the source information is, and it must be there, or else you could run into plagiarism trouble with that. Okay, and so where do we find the source information? Well, hopefully you already know how to answer that, right, because of our career analysis assignment. And so remember, in ONET, if we scroll to the very bottom of the page, underneath our social media icons here in the middle, we have this link that says Cite this page. And when we click on that, we're looking for the MLA citation. And all we would have to do is copy this and then use this full citation on our references page of the semi-formal report. But we know that the in-text or we should know that the in-text citation is however that full citation begins. Okay, so this would be the in-text citation then if this were our references page and if this were the full citation. Okay, so your in-text citation is however your full citation begins. Okay, it could be the first word or the first few words, or in this case, the set of numbers. Now, I want to point something else out to you. In our ONET search where we say cite this page, we see it gives us the set of numbers. The set of numbers mean nothing to us, but it is how ONET categorizes different career fields. Okay? What you can do, if you don't want to use the set of numbers, you can use the set of numbers. But if you don't want to use the set of numbers, what you can do is if you scroll back to the top, you see that same set of numbers, and we see that that is equated with accountants, which is what we searched for. So instead of the set of numbers, if you want to just replace that with accountants, you can do that. If you had several words here, accountants, actuaries, and financial professionals, let's say all of that was a part of this particular search, then you would want to include all of that in place of that set of numbers. Whatever those keywords are, or that keyword is, you want to replace it with that set of numbers, if that's what you choose to do. So again, you can begin your full citation just as it gives you an ONET. Just copy and paste it, and that would be fine. Or if you wanted to replace the set of numbers with whatever that keyword or those keywords are, then you can do that as well. Okay? And so we see that our references begin with 13-2011.01, and so that means that our in-text citation should be that set of numbers. So whenever I see your in-text citation, I should be able to go down to your references page and find a full citation that begins the same exact way that your in-text citation is listed. Okay? You don't want to put National Center for ONET Development as your in-text citation because there's not anything on your references page that begins that way. So whatever your in-text citation is, it must match however your full citation begins. Okay? So hopefully that is clear, and that's true for all of your references. Okay? You want to make sure that you have your full citation on your references page, but your in-text citation that you're going to use in your report, it must match however the full citation begins. If you have questions about that, please let me know. But again, this is what you're doing for your visuals assignment. Okay, we had to cover the MLA references stuff so that you make sure you have your source information listed here, but this is what you're turning into me. You're turning in a table based on the work context section for your ONET search of your contact person. Okay, of their career field. And again, those numbers should be in descending order. You set the percentage. You may have 17 things at 75% or higher, so you may need to go to 90% or higher. Just set a base percentage, go up from there, and just make sure that it will yield you at least 5 entries that you can put into a table. Okay? If you have questions about that, let me know. It is a pretty straightforward assignment. Just dive on into it. If you have questions or you need to watch this video again, please do that. And just send me an email if you have any questions. Okay? Take care.